Yo, what's up guys, Nandra here, welcome to another video. So for this video, alright, so sounds gonna be real for you guys. Alright, so I did initially record a video and I just did it from like the Shadowverse client. However, when I was discussing the video with some guys on Discord, some people did bring up some relevant points. There were a lot of things I typed, and to be quite honest, I'm not gonna remember exactly how I typed them. So I figured that I might as well just like do what I do usually when I get like the Ask Nandra questions, and just like record everything I had typed and just like read it to you guys from there. I will obviously go ahead and just like elaborate on some parts and also talk about some things that I like touch on that from like what I had like after what I had already written down. But yeah. Anyway, so this is one of my new lists. It's called Poly versus Aggro, just because, as you know, I'm a pretty big polyphonic row fanatic. I don't think there's been like a list in like 8 months, 9 months, maybe longer. Yeah, basically since I've been playing the game, like poly row is just like one of like my trademark cards. Anyway. So for this list, it's called Poly versus Aggro, and I know that's like a little bit of a misnomer because it's called Poly versus Aggro. So CB expecting to see like, you know, more things on the curve instead of just me having like a bloated top end of 11-10 drops. But I promise you, like it's not a misnomer. It actually works. All right, so the first thing that you'll notice is that I have 3 copies of Dragon's Nest, 1 copy of Lyrial, 1 copy of Dragon Fist, 2 copies of Humpty Dumpty, and then for the second part of the and then for the second part of the list, you'll see that I have one copy of Olivia, as well as storm units of that of 2 Genesis and 1 Zeus. So let me go ahead and start off by saying that, like, back in Tempest of the Gods, I was actually really excited for Dragon's Nest, aka Dragon's Egg. I'm probably just gonna be calling Egg the entirety of the video. Don't judge me, don't complain, I'm sorry. Because and this is gonna be like I guess like kind of like a flashback or a throwback to like back when I played Yu-Gi-Oh! But back when I played Yu-Gi-Oh! there was this this card called the White Stone of Legend. And it's basically when you discard this card, or when this card goes to the graveyard, add one blue as 1 white dragon to your deck, and it created this sort of deck with dragon in which you would use that card in order to go ahead and just kind of like accelerate your game plan and try to do things in a little bit of a different way. And so that's why I have the eggs here. The eggs, if you don't know what they do, it's 1 mana. At the start of your turn, if you're in overflow, discard this card. Or sorry, if you're in overflow, send this card to the graveyard, draw 2 cards. Or sorry, not draw 2 cards, draw 1 card, and then heal for 2. So basically, it's 1/2 of a Dragonic Fervor. Now, if you notice, Dragonic Fervor costs 5 mana. It's very, very difficult to cast. Whereas Dragon Egg is slower. You can't cast it immediately, but when it does go off, it goes off and it won't cost you anything to do. You just get it for free. It replaces itself by giving you another card. And additionally, and this is probably the most important one, it heals you at the same time. So generally, versus aggro, I'm sure you've all been there, where you're like this close to stabilizing versus aggro, but then you can't, and then they just like kill you. And Dragon's Eggs kind of help to alleviate that. Now I know that you're probably wondering, okay, well you have to be in overflow to get that, so how the fuck are you getting to overflow? Hence all of these anti-aggro cards I have. So again, I have the standard six removal spells and that of 3 copies of Blazing Breath, 3 copies of Breath of Salamander. I'm also throwing in 1 copy of Dragon Fist as well as 1 copy of Lyrial. So the Lyrial could actually be a second Dragon Fist if you wanted to. I was doing 1 of 1 just because I like Lyrial versus say like Forest and Blood as well as Shadow, just because you can use her to pop one attack creatures. Additionally, if you don't get to evolve her, she's basically just like a 2 PP 2 damage removal spell basically, because your opponent's going to trade into it or you're going to trade into something else and kill it. And that's just nice, just because like because it effectively doubles as removal spells. It's not bad. For the Dragonite Fist, you're probably going dance game. Why are you playing Dragonite Fist? So Dragonite Fist is a card that the Japanese have been using for a very, very long time. I actually touched on this in a different video. I don't remember when that video was, but essentially, Dragonite Fist is very, very nice because if you're going second and you don't draw a removal spell, but you do draw the Dragonite Fist, and they go 2-drop, 3-drop, or 2-drop, 2-drop, you can go ahead and just go Dragonite Fist and, you know, toss something that's like maybe say a higher cost, or you're most likely maybe not going to be able to play. Like say for example, you can like toss like a Tina, or you can like toss like a Bahamut or something like that. And well, maybe probably don't want to toss Bahamut, but you know, any Portentous Storm. And you can just go ahead and clear out the board and try to reduce the snowball factor of that of an Alice. Like if they get to play Alice and the Alice hits things on board, you're gonna be hard pressed to win that game, just because when they get buffed, that pushes them out of range of your Blazing Breath, pushes them out of range of the Dragonite Fist, out of the Salamanders, and it's just very, very difficult for you to win. The other card they're probably going, huh, about is Humpty Dumpty. So one of my other, I guess, like semi less known for, but still kind of known for things is playing Humpty Dumpty. Alright, so you don't actually see it that often in my list. However, every time I've played it versus people, they've been like, it's almost always been versus friends, and they've almost always been like, wow, what the actual fuck. The funniest of these was, or rather the funniest of these was when I played versus Kieran, and he was able to go double Shadow Reaper on 4 pre-nerf, and I just went Humpty Dumpty and just like I just blew him out of the water. He just pretty much like immediately just like lost the game. It was pretty funny. For the Humpty Dumpty though, this basically has the same purpose as that of the Dragonite Fist. You're going to be using that to go ahead and try to preemptively stop the Alice high roll before it actually happens. Because again, if they get to buff those if they get to buff those neutrals, you're going to be in a rough spot. However, where the Humpty Dumpty shines over, say, the Dragonite Fist, is that the Humpty Dumpty does 3. So even if you see the Humpty Dumpty like a little bit later, as long as you still have the Evos for it, it can still just, you know, effectively just like reset the board for you. Because it's 4 mana and not 7, that makes it just a tiny bit better over, say, Conflagration. Because Conflagration is 7. When you get to 7, well, getting to 7 is already kind of difficult enough, but even then, post 7, it's not as good because to some extent, like, it's 7 mana, so it's going to take up your entire turn, and if they're playing carrots, they're going to feel bad because they're just going to replay the carrots. Whereas with the Humpty Dumpty on 7 mana, you can instead go Humpty Dumpty, Evo, nuke the board, blow it all up, and then play like an Aiella or whatever. It's not that much better, but it's, you know, the little things. And then lastly, my copy of Olivia. Alright, so for me, you've actually, I think, seen me play Olivia before. I don't play it all that often. However, it is something that I do play, and I do think it's kind of probably mandatory they play it if you're not playing the Saha package. So I say this all the time on Discord, and people always go like, "What are you talking about?" But Dragon is significantly less scary when they don't have Evos. Think about that for a second. How many Dragon cards outside of, say, Bahamut, who isn't even a Dragon card, by the way? How many cards outside of, say, Bahamut/Grimnir actually do things when you don't have Evos? It's really just Saw Quill package and Grimnir and Bahamut. But again, those two aren't, well, but again, all 3 of those cards aren't Dragon cards. The only other card that actually does something without an Evo is, say, Ouroboros, but again, I'm not actually playing Ouroboros. And the Olivia here, she excels over, say, Saha, because like for the Saha package, if you're playing Saha, you're automatically forced to auto-include at least 3 copies of Saha Quill, as well as at least 1 copy of Lucifer, but most people just use 2 copies of Lucifer. So we're just gonna say that you're gonna have to play 3.5 additional cards. Whereas if you just, you know, play the Olivia, then you just get like 1 card, and as long as you like play well enough and just, you know, get to draw your cards, you can just go ahead. You can just go ahead and Olivia, and Olivia is a lot better because Olivia can be used to give rush to anything, provided you you know, give up Evo points. But in this case, that's nice because you can like re-evolve Tinas in late game, or you can like re-evolve Humpties, or you can evolve Sybils. The Sybil one is kind of important because like sometimes you'll want to be in a spot where you need to heal for at least 6. and so you want to go fervor into Sybil and then Eva the Sybil, and that'll heal you for, well, it'll effectively heal you. Sorry, it'll physically heal you for 6, but it'll effectively heal you for about 10 or more HP. And that's just really, really huge if you want to win. So I do have some notes, obviously, for some other things that people did ask me. For right now, it's basically just like questions from my boy Spire Wrecker. He's a pretty good friend. Like we usually like talk about control strategies a lot. So his first questions were, what do you do if you mulligan into Dragon's Dust and you don't draw Sybil in time? So I do have concept games for this deck, which I will be recording. I just wanted to record this part first. But for all 3 of those games, I think I like didn't draw Sybil like at all. It was like really difficult. But generally, like if you can like adopt a remove, just like proactively remove all these threats so that way you're not like taking that much damage, and you have the nest, like eventually at some point you're gonna make it to 7. Like if you make it to 7, if you still have an Evo point left, you can maybe like draw the Sybil off of that. But if you're not like willing to wait that long, then like here's something else. All right. Well, I guess I should answer I guess I should read his second question first before I go into the answer. When do you do 7pp/8pp if you've only drawn 1 Sybil/Fervor? Okay. So my thoughts were, I'm running a tiny bit more anti-aggro. Again, see the Dragonute Fist, the Lirial, the Humpty Dumpties. The reason why is because obviously if you go too heavy on removal, you kind of die if you're not running Oro, you kind of die in the mirror if you're not running Oro. There we go. And still playing Summoners. And here I go ahead and note that I do have the same exact number count as when I played Oro. Right. So in a previous video when I was playing Summoners, I did the math with it for you guys. But basically, when you're playing exactly 10 Dragoncraft followers, you have 3 Sybil, 3 Ella, 2 Summoner, and then 2 of some auxiliary, not a ramp card follower. So in this case, it's going to be 2 Genesis. If we ignore the 1 copy that you obviously would have to cast in order to be in the spot in the first place, and remove it from the equation. So -1. So now we're down to 9. Each Summoner gives you effectively a 3 out of 9, or 1 in 3 for Sybil, a 3 out of 9, or 1 in 3 for Ayala, or a 1 in 9 for the second copy of Dragon Summoner, or a 2 in 9 for whatever that 4th Dragoncraft card is. In this case, it's Genesis. So effectively, you get a 6 out of 9, or a 2 out of 3 in order to find ramp if you can find the Summoner in the first place. So it kind of eases the prediction of. So it kind of eases the pressure of the early mulligans, because you're not like as hard pressure to mull to just like straight up to like try to like hard mull for Oracle if you can, particularly if you're on the play and you're versus one of the classes that is an Alice that's like an Alice / like aggro class. So in this case, if you're versus like say Haven, or you're versus like Blood, or you're versus what's the other big Alice class, or you're versus like Sword. So if you don't get the Sybil or the Ayla, it can be tough, because again, you're gonna need to adopt a kind of like take very little damage policy, because the game plan there will be to try to live until you can like find Israfil. Let me clarify here: the game plan for the majority of these matchups are going to be to try to live until you can find Israfil. Like Israfil is, weirdly enough, more or less how you win these games versus aggro, and then it's gonna be Israfil slash Bahamut versus aggro, and then it's gonna be like Bahamut / Polyroar for like the control-y or like slower like mid-range matchups. And here again, I go ahead and note that that's possible to cut 1 copy of Egg / Nest for a 3rd copy of Israfil, because again, generally Israfil Evo, when the Israfil gets, when it gets like nuke the board and just like blow up everything, that's usually how you win, just because like a lot of these Alice decks, they're not running Dance of Death, or if they are, they're usually trying to like dance of Death your Sybils and whatnot. And even if they do dance of Death your Israfil, as long as you cleared everything, the Dance of Death costs 5 mana. By the time you get to 10, by the time you're on 10 mana, they should be at about 7 or 8 or so. So if they dance to death your Israfil, that means that they're left with 3 mana left to develop, and that means that they've bought yourself a turn where you can play whatever you want to, provided you're not like near dead. If you're near dead, obviously you're gonna have to heal. But if you're not near dead, that means you can play Poly. It means you can play second Israfil. It means you can play like Sybils, whatever. But yeah, like, so definitely there's merit to cutting that for the third copy of Israfil. I personally just use two Israfils because I usually find that like I end up in a spot where I don't have an Evo for the third one. But if you can like set up, but if you can set up situations where you can just like hard cast Israfil, you're gonna win. You're gonna win just because like they don't have good answers to it, and they can't leave it up on the board because the Genesis will kill them. But regarding Summoner, yeah, the issue with one attack units is that they're usually only playable if you're playing like Angel of the Word or Angelic Knight in order to like supplement them. But Dragon obviously like doesn't have that luxury in order to like play either of those cards, which is part of why you only ever see 2 copies of Summoner. The other is that because she only pulls ramp and herself most of the time, her scaling does fall off a bit later in the game because the 2 mana is kind of hard to float unless you're post Poly, in which case you're usually just like AoEing the board and just like smacking them in the face with Flash Dragons, or unless you're using like, again, Breath of the Salamanders or Raptrix in the same turn. His next question was, you could have made the pool slightly better with 2 Zeus and 1 Genesis, right? Or were you worried about that late game scaling slash potential end game 2 damage situation? So what do you use of that is that when Zeus first got revealed, the biggest argument for why people said he wouldn't be played is because obviously people were only really expecting to see playing Ramp Dragon and nowhere else. And the big argument was that like, well, the 2 damage matter. The 2 damage does and doesn't matter. Like, and it was kind of like a back and forth for some people. And even to this day, like a lot of people like still have mixed feelings or kind of like on the fence. For me, I personally think that like that the Zeus versus Genesis argument is basically what is your deck trying to do? If your deck doesn't really have damage and is more oriented towards like just like surviving, then Zeus is gonna be a little bit better. But if your deck needs damage, or conversely, but if your deck like needs damage, or conversely, you know that or you just kind of know that you like can't like afford to like craft Zeus's, then definitely Genesis is better. Like there's very little difference most of the time. However, there is actually a difference here for why I'm choosing to play Genesis Dragon over Zeus, or sorry, why I'm playing to play the second copy of Genesis Dragon over, say, the second copy of Zeus. And the reason why is because, yeah, it could easily be 2 Zeus, but I find with decks like these, if you don't have Poly up or if you haven't gone to hit face at all, that there's actually a very relevant calc that a lot of people probably don't talk about, which is that Isra Evo, which again, Israfil is usually how you win. It's usually like what's gonna be on the board before you kill them. Is that Isra Evo plus Israfil attack plus Zeus with no Evo is exactly 19 damage, because it's 2 damage from the Israfil swing, is 12 damage from the Israfil attack. The reason why it's 12 damage is because whenever Israfil attacks, you automatically get the 2 damage. So because when she's Evo'd, she has 10 attacks, so effectively it's 12 damage. And then Zeus with no Evo is 5 damage, which comes out to 19 because it's 2 plus 12 plus 5. But if you have Israfil Evo plus attack plus Genesis, that's 2 plus 12 plus 7, which is 21. So in the event in which you don't get any chip damage whatsoever, which does sometimes happen, then the Genesis will actually matter, because the Genesis will in fact kill them, whereas the Zeus will not. The Zeus will only kill them if you're somehow in a spot where you get to hold a second Evo for the Zeus, which is very rare. Like in those games, like clearly something strange must have happened. Like your opponent like must have had either a weird turn, or you might have been able to just go like ramp into Bahamut, then play Israfil afterwards, and then play the Zeus after that. But I find those games are very rare. But yeah, and it's just like relevant enough to make it worth it, because again, if you assume that up until 9 mana you'll be the defender, and most players will take the value trade over letting the summoner live, or sorry, over say letting the summoner live and letting the summoner connect for 1. just because the Alice decks, they don't really have to care about how much damage that they push through. The only thing that they have to care about is just like that at some point by like say turn 4 or turn 5 that they, or even turn 6, that they make a board that you cannot AoE, because if you cannot AoE it, you're gonna eat like 27 damage. I say 27, but it's actually not 27. It's usually closer to like 15 to like 15 to like 16. But as you can see, like 15 to 16 is not like a laughing matter. That's still a lot of damage, and it's usually gonna be like say 5 attack Lyrials, or 7 attack like Hectors, and all sorts of like crazy things. But yeah, again, here's the deck. Oh my god, let me stop accidentally typing things. But yeah, like I said, I do have some gameplay games for this deck that I'll be uploading probably tonight before I go to sleep. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like. If you didn't enjoy, go ahead and let me know why you didn't enjoy it down in the comments below. I'm still planning to do some group card review with a bunch of my friends on Discord, probably this weekend. I will probably, make an announcement on Friday for when I actually do it. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.